Stats, it's Tom here and welcome to the match day of Liverpool FC Premier League Game Week 1 Fulham Liverpool. This is the big preview and prediction video, and I will do a detailed deep dive on the predicted lineups, the statistics, all the latest injury news, the potential tactics, what could win at Liverpool this game. But I think Liverpool need to start on the front foot and really get at Fulham, take control of the game, take the sting out of the game, because the newly promoted side at home, first game of the season, they will be very vocal, the crowd will be wild, even though Fulham is not famous for their incredible atmosphere. It's a small stadium, so the fans will be up for it, and for Liverpool we need to get on the ball, get possession, take the sting out of the game and silence the crowd early on with hopefully an early goal. And also don't forget that you can still join my Fantasy Premier League mini league. The code will be on the screen. Make sure to join using the link in the video description if there are already more than 200 of you guys in that mini league. So I'm really looking forward to competing with you guys, and here is my game week 1 team if you are interested. This is how I lined up. Martinelli already scored on game week 1 Arsenal with a brilliant 2-0 win against Crystal Palace, and I expect of course Alisson to be back for this game, so he should start in goal after his small injury that he picked up in pre-season. Trent Alexander-Arnold, Matip, Van Dijk and Robertson will be playing at the back. And by the way, if you enjoy these preview videos and if you want me to make this a series throughout the whole season, previewing every single Liverpool game, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you are new around here. Thiago, Fabinho and Henderson, I think, will be Liverpool's main midfield. We have some injury concerns in midfield, but more on that later. And I still expect Bobby Firmino to start up front with Diogo Jota out injured. Darwin Núñez will probably start on the bench. Luis Diaz and Salah and Firmino should be good enough to blow Fulham away. But Fulham are a decent side, even though they got relegated straight away after getting promoted like 2 years ago. They spent £100 million that year and they still got relegated. But last season Fulham had the most impressive championship campaign. They broke numerous records, including the top goal scorers. Alexander Mitrovic broke the championship goal scoring record by scoring more than 40 goals during the season. But Mitrovic is such a Jekyll and Hyde type of player. He could never cut it in the Premier League properly. He had massive goal droughts in the Premier League going for months, but in the championship he's always tearing it up. I mean, that's absolutely crazy. I haven't seen a player with this big of a contrast between playing in the Championship and in the Premier League like Mitrovic, and he won't get probably more than 10 goals in the Premier League. But I hope he proves me wrong, because if Mitrovic doesn't score enough goals, I don't see Fulham staying up. And of course I expect their 2 new signings, Andreas Pereira and João Palhinha. They signed them, Pereira they signed from Flamengo in Brazil, and Palhinha they signed him from Sporting in Portugal. These are 2 very, very good additions. And also Kevin Mbabu from Wolfsburg is also a pretty decent right back, but Kenny Tete is also vying for a starting place. The big question is Chalobah, will he be fit? Harry Wilson is out injured and Joe Bryan as well. Liverpool have a more lengthy injury list. We have Konate, Curtis Jones, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Jota and Kelleher definitely out. I think maybe only Jota would have started in this game. Maybe if he would have had a really great preseason. I think Matip and Van Dijk will be Liverpool's main centre-back pairing for the season. Of course, Konate will still play a lot of games, but I still think Liverpool's best centre-back pairing is Matip and Van Dijk. Tsimikas is also doubtful, but at least Liverpool don't miss starting players. Joe Bryan and Harry Wilson and Chalobah are starting 11 players for Fulham, and they are missing 3 of them. So that is a big blow for Fulham. And Liverpool have always had a tough game against Fulham. As you can see from the previous results, in the Craven Cottage Stadium, Liverpool could only win by 1 goal. And the last time these 2 teams met, actually, Liverpool lost at Anfield to Fulham, which really still blows my mind. Fulham got relegated still, but they won at Anfield. Of course, that was the season where Liverpool lost 6 games in a row at Anfield after going like 49 games unbeaten or something crazy like that. I mean unbeaten at home. And also that was the season where Liverpool lost all three centre-backs to long-term injuries. But at Craven Cottage, the last time these two teams met, Liverpool played out a 1-1 draw, and before that we have only won 2-1 and 3-2, so Liverpool really need to be on their A game. But also another interesting match fact is that Liverpool have won 16 of the last 18 matches against Fulham in the Premier League. What is crazy about that statistic is that the 2 games in the last 18 matches which Liverpool haven't won have been the last 2 meetings. So that, of course, it was in a season where Liverpool was disrupted by injuries. Also, Fulham are on a 6-game losing streak in the Premier League at home, which is pretty amazing that they lost their last 6 home games. Probably one of the main reasons why Fulham got relegated 2 years ago. And Liverpool scored the second most goals last season with 94 goals. Only Man City scored more last season, 99, and I hope that Liverpool will keep this amazing goal scoring run going. Of course, a lot will depend on how well Darwin Núñez will adapt to English football. Liverpool have scored at least 2 goals in 9 of their last 11 Premier League games, which is a really good statistic because Liverpool very rarely concede 2 or more goals. And when Van Dijk was back to his best, and I think that was from this January, Liverpool were relentless. We have won so many games in the second half of the Premier League season, but Liverpool can't afford another slow start. Liverpool were really all over the place in some games in the first half of last season. Liverpool need to rectify that, but that was also mainly because Van Dijk was coming back from a long-term injury, and Matip and Joe Gomez was also coming back from a long-term injuries. Now Liverpool have a very settled squad, a very settled team, so I expect Liverpool to come out of the blocks firing on all cylinders, and really we need to start the Premier League season like it's a sprint until November, when there is a big break in the season because of the World Cup. And Liverpool are still unbeaten in 2022 in the Premier League, winning 16 and drawing 3 of their last 19 Premier League matches this year, and that is title winning form. 16 wins, 3 draws, 0 losses. That is an absolutely incredible second half of the Premier League season for Liverpool. And also our defense, as I said, since January has been absolutely stellar. We only conceded like 9 goals in the past 19 games, which is absolutely amazing. So the last time Liverpool lost in the Premier League was against Leicester City on December the 28th, when we missed a penalty with Mo Salah and Leicester got very, very lucky. They scored with their only shot on target. Liverpool had 21 shots. So Liverpool are brilliant, both home and away in the last 6 months. Let's hope that form continues, and it needs to continue because we need to put an early marker down and try to get ahead of Manchester City in these early weeks of the Premier League season. But I'm really looking forward to the Liverpool game today. I'm really excited to watch Liverpool play in the Premier League again. And here are Fulham's transfers. As you can see, they signed Pereira from Man United. He was loan at Flamengo. They signed Palfinha from Sporting. Those 2 players, they spent almost 30 million euros for them. Mbabu cost only 5 million from Wolfsburg. And Bernd Leno, their goalkeeper, their first choice goalkeeper they signed from Arsenal. I completely forgot about him. So he will probably be the first choice goalkeeper for Fulham. They also loaned in Shane Duffy from Brighton. He's a very experienced centre-back, but I feel that Fulham still need a little bit more. They lost Andre Zambo Anguissa to Napoli, and they also lost, of course, Fabio Carvalho to Liverpool. And remember, we bought Harvey Elliott and Fabio Carvalho from Fulham. So 2 young players with great potential, with huge futures at Liverpool. They were coming through Fulham. Fulham are just developing club. They can't really keep their biggest young talents for more than a few years, and that's fair enough. They are a yo-yo club at the moment, Fulham, but they want, of course, to be established as a decent Premier League side. They want to do what clubs like Brighton or Wolves have done, who have been in the Championship, who got promoted. They still established themselves as a regular Premier League side, but I still feel that they need a little bit more investment. Marco Silva has been very vocal about he needs more players. He doesn't have a lot of centre-backs. at his disposal, so Fulham definitely need to sign new centre-backs. My prediction for this game is a 2-0 hard-fought Liverpool win, and I expect Salah to score and maybe Darwin Núñez will score off the bench. But if we don't score early, this game will become tricky because the Fulham crowd will be really up for it, and Craven Cottage is a small pitch, so Liverpool really need to be creative breaking down the Fulham defense. I expect Fulham to defend in a low block and try to hit Liverpool on the counter-attack, and Liverpool will of course use Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andrew Robertson to bump on the wing. Virgil van Dijk will try those diagonal long balls, and I think the key will be Thiago and his ability to unlock the Fulham defense with defense splitting passes and his creativity, and hopefully Fabinho and Henderson will be on top form as well. And I expect Bobby Firmino to relentlessly press the Fulham backline, so hopefully that will result in Liverpool winning the ball high up the pitch and hurting Fulham, because if you win the ball in their final third, then you can really hurt the opposition. So let me know, how do you feel about the Fulham Liverpool game, and how do you feel about the Premier League being back on our television screens? And if you are going to the game, good luck and sing your hearts out, and I'm really looking forward to watching it. Thanks for watching, have a nice game and have a nice day. See you later, goodbye.